And now, over to Ron for the next guest on The Late Show on chatandspinradio.com.
And the time now on Chat and Spin Radio in the UK is 11:35 p.m. We've got our next guest on the line right now. Who's calling and where are you calling from?
Hello Ron, it's Catherine Berry here and I'm calling from Sydney in Australia.
Well, welcome to Chat and Spin Radio, Catherine. And
thank you.
Now, you're now a book author. You want to talk about your book. So just tell me about that book, the title, the storyline, and what inspired you to write it as well.
Sure. I'm somewhat of an accidental author, and I just have one book to my name, the title of which is But You Are in France, Madame. And not surprisingly, it's set in France. I do write magazine articles and am on the usual array of social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook. Plus I blog about my family's French-Australian lives. In fact, if you type But You're in France, Madame into a search engine, I'm pretty hard to miss. To write the book, what was the inspiration? Going back some time, I am a French teacher by profession. I veered into school management in Australia just before having my children. But from a financial point of view, that was exceptionally hard to combine the two, career and child rearing. Most of my time was spent away from my children, and most of the money that I was earning was spent on paying other people to look after my children. It's not like that, by the way, in France. In any case, I persevered, but not long after the birth of my third child, I resigned from my position as head of school and started tutoring private students at home. And that's when things became interesting and the serendipitous nature of life took over. A couple of unrelated incidents led me to stop speaking English to my third child, my son, and speak to him only in French. It was pretty daunting at the time, as whilst I could happily order a coffee and find out what time the train for Paris was leaving, I didn't have a lot of ready French baby vocabulary at my disposal. In any case, fast forward a couple of years, and my husband and I decided that we really needed to give some authenticity to this great social experiment. So the idea of upping sticks and taking the children to live in France was born. The original plan was for a one-year French living adventure, but once there we decided that 1 year was never going to be enough. So my husband resigned from his job, I had already resigned from mine, and we were incomeless, family far away, no network, and 3 children in France, and it was a beautiful time. In any case, the 1 year turned into several bilingual children, a change of career for me, the purchase of a house in France, a perpetual case of what's going to be our next adventure, and the book, because moving back to Australia at the end of this period of several years was hard, or at least harder than I had anticipated. So writing But You Are in France, Madame was a good way to keep me in France and allowed me to turn the page in my own time. I have to say that since then, the book publishing journey has been one of the most affirming things that I have ever undertaken, along with moving to France in the first place.
Now, if people want to purchase that book, where do they go?
Well, it is in bookstores in Australia, but the easiest thing is Amazon for print and digital copies.
Now, if anyone wants to contact you, Catherine, where do they go? How do they do it?
Yes, as I said before, I am on Instagram and Facebook, and I do have a blog, and all of those have their contact platforms. So searching for But You Are in France, Madame, or Catherine Berry will lead you to those, but alternatively happy to chat with people via email, and that address is cb222@me.com.
Okay, then, Catherine, anything else you want to tell us?
Oh, I just wanted to finish up by saying that we do have a home in France, and it is available for holiday rental. And of course, this year bookings have dried up completely, as travel has been and perhaps will remain impossible. So perhaps my book might help. And alternatively, those who are dreaming of France, and I know that there are lots in that category because they contact me, or families who are not wanting to do normal, or just those who are curious about how others choose to live. Perhaps this book is a good one for them.
Okay then, Catherine, well, the very best of luck with the book and what you're doing as well. And that was Catherine Berry on the line from Sydney, Australia.